We are Happy Tales Entertainment. It is a family-owned business. We started about 3 years ago. My husband and I both worked at SeaWorld San Antonio as animal trainers for about 22 years and decided to go out on our own and get unique animals up close and personal to folks like yourself. Now we do birthday parties, we do special occasions, we do retirement and assisted living facilities, we do school presentations, you name it, we'll do it. So stop on over to our booth after the presentation and you can pick up a card and meet the porcupine or the alpaca or the donkey, whichever ones you want to meet, and you are welcome to pet anything that I brought today. Now Peanut over here with Darby, that's my daughter, and this is Katie, my other daughter. Peanut is a miniature donkey. The definition of a miniature donkey is the donkey is only 32 to 36 inches at the wither, which is the shoulder. So she is as big as she is going to get. There are 3 different types of donkey: the mini, the standard, and then there's a mammoth donkey. Now donkeys are very stubborn and very bullheaded, and the reason they are is they have a very strong sense of self-preservation. That means they're always looking out for number 1. They make excellent guard animals for your sheep herds. They can see all 4 of their feet at one time, so when they go to kick, they are very accurate at what they're aiming at. So they can kick very hard and they can kick very fast. So you have to be careful when you're around a donkey. But she's awful cute, and again, her name is Peanut. Now this is Cusco. He is my alpaca. A lot of people think he's a llama. They are related to the llama, although there are several differences. If you look at Cusco, his ears are straight. If you were to look at a llama, they have a banana-shaped ear. So their ears are going to curve in like a banana. Alpacas are a little bit smaller than your llamas. Your llamas stand a little bit taller, maybe about up to here instead. And your alpacas are bred for their fiber or their fur. What you'll do is you shear them down once a year just like you would a sheep, and then you sell the wool, or you get the wool spun down into yarn, and it makes a great sweater, blanket, socks, hats, gloves, you name it. It is the softest material you could ever have against your skin. It's a lot nicer than sheep's wool because it's not scratchy. So if you ever get a chance to get an alpaca sweater, do so. It is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now these animals are originally native to the mountains in Peru and Chile, but there are no more wild alpaca herds. Well, there are wild alpaca herds just like there are wild horse herds up in like Wyoming, but they are considered a domesticated species of animal. The llama is also domesticated, and the donkey over there has been domesticated for over 4,000 years. So that's one of the first species of animal that was domesticated by man. That means domesticated means that they work for man, or they have a purpose for man. Now, some of the other animals I have are still wild, considered wild animals, even though they are used to being around people. Now the llama is bred for as a pack animal as well as the donkey. The donkey is a pack animal as well. So what you'll do is if you're going to go hiking up in the mountains in Peru, you'll load all your camping equipment and your cooking equipment and everything up onto the llama. Now they have a special behavior, it's called cushing, and that means they basically lay down just like this. Now that's the way that you can load your llama. It's a little bit easier to load them as they're laying down so you don't have to throw everything up onto their back. Also with the camel, if you're going to go for a camel ride, they'll have them do what is called cushing. They'll lay down because it's really hard to swing your leg up into the stirrup and swing up into a saddle on a camel. They're a lot taller than a horse. He can and will spit, usually at Peanut. They do live together. But the alpacas are a little bit nicer of a breed of animal than your llama. Your llama is a lot like your donkey, very stubborn, very strong sense of self-preservation. A lot of your alpaca farmers will use llamas as the guard animal for the alpaca herd. So anyway, that is Peanut and Cusco. Thanks, ladies. Thanks, guys. Now the next animal that I have coming over to show you is called a Hog Island boa. Hog Island is a small island off the coast of Honduras. And his name is Herbie, and this is Natasha, Darby's best friend. He is a smaller species of snake. He is a constrictor. He is one of 17 different species of boa constrictor, an offshoot of the Colombian red-tailed boa. Now, your Colombian red-tailed boa can get up to 13 feet. Herbie here is about 7, and he is pretty much full grown. He's not going to get much bigger than this. This species of snake is only found on Hog Island natively and naturally, and they are extinct in the wild due to habitat destruction. Also, people will kill them just out of fear, and they'll also kill them for food. Now, snakes are highly misunderstood creatures. Most people think snakes are just going to bite to bite. The only reason a snake is going to bite or strike at you is if you totally scare it really, really bad, or if it's extremely, extremely hungry. That's the only reason a snake is going to bite. Now, Herbie is used to being handled. He gets handled at least once or twice a week. And as you can see, we do all kinds of weird stuff with him. Put him on our head, play Medusa. Yeah, that's fun stuff, yes. Now, when he's sticking his tongue out, he is smelling. Not only is he a predator, but he is also a prey species of animal. Birds will eat him, other snakes will eat him, small mammals will eat them. So he has to be on the lookout for everything. So when he sticks his tongue out, he's smelling. In the roof of his mouth, he has what is called the Jacobson's organ. He sticks his tongue out, gets the scent on the end of his tongue, puts his tongue in that Jacobson's organ, and that sends the scent up to the brain, and it tells him whether it's friend, food, or foe. So he always has to know what's in his environment. He eats about 1 rat every 2 weeks right now. In the summertime, he will eat 1 a week. A snake can go up to a year without eating. It depends on the size of his last meal. Reptiles have a very slow metabolism, so that's why they don't have to eat all the time. Birds, on the opposite end, have a very, very high metabolism, so they're constantly eating. So, anyway, a lot of people think snakes are slimy like fish, but they're not. They're actually very, very smooth. They have scales, but they're basically just folds of skin. And a snake will shed their skin once every 4 to 6 weeks. A lot of people think they don't shed once a year, but they shed every 4 to 6 weeks. One of the ways you can tell that a snake is getting ready to go into shed his skin is his eyes will cloud over. They do not have any eyelids, so they can't blink. What he does is he has a protective coating over his eye to protect his eye from dust and slithering through the grass so he doesn't get cut. But that's the first thing that will pop loose, if you will, so then it looks like his eyes are cloudy. And then he's basically blind. He can't see very well when his skin is loose and he's going into shed. So that's one of the most dangerous times to handle a snake, especially if it's not used to being handled, because he is blind at that point. Then about 2 or 3 days later, he just kind of slithers right on out of his skin, and his skin is brand new and shiny. Herbie shed about 2 weeks ago, so in about another 2 weeks, he's going to go right back into shed again. So if anybody just wants to feel a snake, come on over and visit our booth over here, right up to the right over here. And that's Herbie, my Hog Island boa. The next animal that's coming over, I'm sure everybody will recognize him from the movie Madagascar. He is just like King Julian, but his name is Baako. He is a ringtail lemur. Now, I had his mother in my programs. They are the dominant of the species. She became extremely aggressive, like lemurs can. And so I sent her to a zoo north of Dallas and said, when you have any babies born, can I have a male? Because I knew the males were the nicer of the species. Well, sure enough, she got pregnant, and I said, if hers is a boy, can I have that? And he was a boy, and his name is Baako. Baako means firstborn in African. He is only a year old. Actually, he's not quite a year old. He'll be a year this month on the 22nd. So right now he weighs around 4 pounds. When he's full grown, he will get up to about 12 pounds and be the size of a house cat. Ringtail lemurs are the most popular for zoos to display because they're the most recognized by humans. But there are 85 living species of lemur, and all of them are found on the small island of Madagascar on the east side of Africa. Every species of lemur is on the endangered species list due to habitat destruction. Humans have gone in there and chopped down all the forests, so they don't have anywhere naturally to live anymore. The ringtail lemur is one of the only species of lemur that's awake during the day. Most of them are nocturnal or awake at dawn and dusk. They're also one of the only species of lemur that's comfortable on the ground as well as up in the trees, and he can climb like nobody's business, and he is very fast when he wants to be. Mark's trying to get him to do a behavior. It's actually a threat behavior. It's a defensive thing. He walks up on his feet like that and he makes himself look bigger. So if anything's threatening him, he'll do that. And he thinks he looks really tough. Ringtail lemurs live in large family groups called troops, anywhere from 50 to 100 animals, and again the females are the dominant of the species, so the female is the head of the troop. Now the males have scent glands on the inside of their arms, and what they'll do is they'll lick those scent glands to stimulate the scent, and then they'll rub their tail through their scent glands, and the male with the stinkiest tail wins the female. So they have stinky tail contests. His tail has 28 rings on it, alternating white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, all the way down. His tail is actually longer than he is. When he's full grown, his tail will be about 21 inches and his body will only be about 18. So his tail's a little bit longer than his body. He uses that tail for balance as he's hopping from tree limb to tree limb. He also uses it for balance as he's walking around on the ground. They are considered a primate, but they are considered a lesser primate. They are the least evolved of all the primate species, so they are not considered a true monkey. But they are extremely intelligent, and I do not recommend one of these as a pet because they can get extremely aggressive and they have extremely sharp teeth. Now they don't have claws like a cat, they have fingernails just like you and I, and then they have one grooming claw on each of their back feet that they use for grooming. He also will use his teeth to groom. So anyway, if you want to come see Ba'ako up close and personal, again, come to the Happy Tails booth. That's Ba'ako, my ringtail lemur. All right, I got one more animal to show y'all, and I'm sure you've all seen him walking around here, and his name is Hassani, and he is an African porcupine. And yes, you can touch this porcupine. He is wonderful. He's just like a dog. Now, he is the world's third largest rodent, the porcupine is. So he's related to rats and mice and the capybara, which is the largest rodent found in South America. Again, he is an African porcupine, so there's a couple differences between an African porcupine and the native North American porcupines. The first thing you notice with Hassani is the size of his quills. His quills can range anywhere from 2 inches to 2 feet long. These long white ones on his back end, Darby will point it out, can get up to 2 feet. Now he has several different purposes for his quills. He will raise those quills up, and those big long ones make him look bigger. And he has big quills up underneath his skirt that are the length of a pencil, they're about the size of a pencil, and they are extremely sharp. Now, no porcupines throw, shoot, or release their quills at any time. They fall out just like hair, and what happens is he'll raise those quills up almost like a dog or a cat will raise their scruff. Then the quills are then contracted, and he will run backwards and impale whatever is threatening him with those quills, and one of those quills will fall out into the animal. Now, if the animal doesn't get that quill out, it will move in an inch a day through osmotic pressure until it either disrupts a major organ, an artery, a vein, and the animal can actually bleed out and die from the quill. So, yes, they are an extremely dangerous animal out in the wild. Hassani is very, very sweet though. Now another difference